We've got a special guest in the studio today, and you don't want to miss it. Stay tuned. It's the Family Reunion After Show.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Family Reunion After Show. And as you can see from our wide shot, we've got a special guest, Anthony Alabi.
How'd I get here? This is weird.
How did he get here? He is Moses on Family Reunion, the show we all know and love. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
We're excited to be here today. We are talking episode 4, Remember When I Lost My Sister. We got some issues with Jade and Drew, some church basement freakiness, and a battle to open-mindedness. And we got some special guests, as you see, some news and gossip, and a special segment for you all. But before we get into that, let's talk about what we thought of today's show.
I loved it. It's just interesting to just see how some of the boys involved for Jade, she just, oh yeah, I love my sister. It's, she's so amazing. We braid each other's hair. But then you also have verses where M'dear is just, she needs to, be a little bit more open-minded to other cultures. And I think that's also the spirit of what being a Christian is at the same time, to be more open-minded in our lives. So that's why I like it.
Anthony, what did you think?
When did she lose her sister? I didn't know about this. No. M'dear didn't say a word. This is not okay. No, I'm kidding. She's a teenager, so I think influence, as we all know, as teenagers, you like somebody and you just immediately latch on to whatever they are. So you become like this boyfriend girlfriend chameleon, right? So it's like they like yoga. It's like me too. It's like you don't work out. Like, what are you talking about? I like parachuting.
Fits Lynn.
Yeah. So, it's natural that she's going to do those things, and I'm just glad that naturally our family's there, and M'dear's there, and everybody's there to kind of pick up the slack. But I'm sure that's not going to be the last time that happens.
Oh, no, for sure.
And as far as open-mindedness, that was, when we got this, I really, and we read the script, I thought it was great that they had this kind of topic in there. Because I think a lot of times in life, I think we face that, right? Where people are like hardcore into whatever religion they're into and not open-minded to anything else. And I think that if you're strong in whatever faith you choose, it's okay to look into other stuff. You know what I mean? I remember when I was younger, my dad, I went to go see, The Da Vinci Code? Remember that movie? Tom Hanks? And my dad was like, Anthony, you cannot watch the Da Vinci Code. And I was like, why? And my dad's like a hardcore Christian. And I was like, why? And he was like, because it turns you away from God. And I go, if Tom Hanks turns people away from God, 1, he's a hell of an actor.
Yes. How can I be an actor like that?
And 2, they weren't too strong to begin with. So, that's how it goes.
I was shocked with you. I mean, you really stepped it up talking.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you really
told
put your
M'dear.
foot down.
Yeah.
I'm so scared.
Yeah.
So scared, y'all. No idea.
I haven't seen you play that part, so to see that, I was like, whoa. He's not
I
playing
thought
today.
the same thing.
Yes.
Going against mom a little bit.
A little bit. Oof.
Yes,
a lot bit.
yes.
Notice I walked upstairs really quickly. I was like, Baha'u'llah.
Yeah. Yep.
Took off.
Yep.
So as you can see, we had a lot of stuff that happened in this episode, but let's break it down a little bit and start it off with everything that happened with Jade and Drew. So we know Jade has a little bit of a crush on Drew, as we've seen from past episodes, and they finally were able to kind of meet up and talk in the park, and they both have little sisters that ended up playing together, what led to their love connection. What did you guys think about that?
I just thought it was interesting to see the younger girls talk about climate change versus the older kids doing a Batman versus Superman conversation. But granted, I think a lot of kids now are actually worried about climate change, so it makes a lot of sense. But the fact that you have the older ones who probably should be talking about more things besides pop culture, and you have 8-year-olds. It's keeping me up at night. These straws just destroy the world.
So funny.
And it makes me really upset as a little bit as an adult, because I don't have those conversations, and I feel like I should. It should be more important to talk about. Like it actually makes you think differently because you have children talking about it. So I think that was a nice message to kind of take away from that as well, and it was really funny.
Yes.
Mission accomplished. That was the whole point.
Yes.
No, I mean, and I think in a funny way, what this show does, I think we like to put it in a comedic sense, but when you walk away from it after you stop laughing, it's one of those like, And if that's what we're doing, then I think we're winning. And I think that's the whole point, is that there are things going on in the world that we don't really address. And I think there's things going on in the world that we get caught up kind of in our own world and our own kind of, our Instagram feed or whatever we're looking at or whatever small kind of thing we're into, and you forget about the bigger picture. And I think that's what this scene was trying to kind of make people think about. Like, these little kids that are new in the generation, that are a new generation, are basically worried about stuff for the future because they're the ones that are going to live there, right? Whereas teenagers are just like, what are you thinking? What do you like?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, nah.
Definitely. I was intrigued with the puppy like love / flirting because when you're small and you're like 14 years old and you get that little crush and you go to the park. So it was interesting to see because like you really couldn't go on a date, but you use your sisters as a way to go out. Like you're up to something.
It's like your excuse. No, it's a play date. It's a play date for the kids.
Yeah.
Even when she complimented Coco and she's like, oh, you look really nice, and they're like, you're up to something.
Yeah.
And she's like, everyone's like, no, yeah. And then M'dear's like, she's up to something. You're like, no, she's not. And they're like, she said I look nice. She's up to something. Yeah. So it was cute. I liked it.
Going back to what you said about puppy love, I know for me, I was excited. I was like, yay, love connection, Jade and Drew in a tree. I don't know. I was excited. I was excited to see that it was happening because I remember when we had the pre-show, your prediction was that she was going to meet a guy and that was going to kind of be part of her story. So I was excited to see that happen, right?
I mean, it doesn't bring you back to like when you had your first crush on a guy. Granted, I saw it probably earlier than 14. But
I love the slip in. Parentheses, I started earlier than 14.
Like we were just going to smooth past that.
Let's just take it on back.
But it really does bring you back to when you first had that first crush you had on a guy, and really just, it kind of brings back those little warm butterflies of a simpler time for us, because dating now is hard.
Oh, yes. But that's a whole nother
combo.
Show and conversation. Okay, well, before we move on to the next topic, Zakiya, you have a message for our viewers?
Yes, I do. Guys, thank you for making us the ESPN of TV talk. We really appreciate you all. Honestly, we love what we do, and you make it even more better by appreciating us. So if you want to, well, we're asking you to. And can you please just go on YouTube, subscribe, thumbs up, go on iTunes, give us 5 stars, and keep watching because we're going to keep bringing you shows after shows after shows because it's AfterBuzz TV.
Yeah, and if you keep subscribing, maybe Anthony will come every week.
Oh.
I mean, yeah.
I'm going to throw that in.
I'm going to hold you to that.
Let's do it. I'm into it.
Well, only 2 weeks, so he can just go.
Oh, just 2 weeks? Okay, now he's got to come.
Let's just do it. Why not?
So after their situation in the park, Jade and Drew were actually able to go to the movies, and they ended up together, but they ended up leaving their sisters. They went into a whole nother movie theater. Did you all buy the whole, we ended up in the wrong movie theater thing, or do you think they knew exactly what they were doing?
I think they really did get lost because they're kind of lost in each other for a second.
Good
and when
point.
you're lost in this new person, you get blinders to everything else. So just walking to the movie is like, oh yeah, oh wait, you're old people. No offense, but you're not the little ones we came here for.
What I didn't understand, and I know they got lost in the movie, but why not just go back to the right movie theater? And did anybody else think that?
They didn't want to. They said, you know what? It's going to be okay. We're going to watch this movie and we're going to go back. But it didn't happen like
Didn't
that.
work that way.
No. They didn't want to.
And I don't think it was on purpose. You know why? Because I trust my little girl.
Oh, yes,
She didn't mean to do anything. It was an accident. She got caught up in the moment.
Yes,
I'm going to leave it at that.
Did Mose think that when they got home and realized that their 8-year-olds had walked home by themselves?
Sipping the tea.
Not the tea.
While all this was going on in movie theaters and in parks, Shaka was in church acting up, sneaking off into basements making bets, and a bunch of craziness went down. They saw a one-legged woman. People were freaked out. Wasn't that so funny? What did you guys think of that?
I mean, it was hilarious because she's it's not even like she's on a bed. She was actually like, I feel like, on a dresser, and you just laid out.
With her eyes wide open, that was creepy.
No, before her eyes were closed.
Oh, okay.
So when he first went in there, he got freaked out was because she looked dead. I don't, even me watching, I was like, are you breathing? Those are my questions.
That's the first thing I thought. I was like, oh no, they done found a dead woman in church.
I was just like, it happens here too. Like, I couldn't like fathom it. And then he freaked out, and then like his friend kind of threw Elvis on the floor.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
It's like,
so funny.
Which is it's like one of those things when you see a black person screaming and running,
You scream and run.
You don't ask
Let it
questions,
go.
you go. So it was very real. I really appreciated it.
Yes.
I thought it was boys just being boys. I mean, they came up with this plan to do all these bad things, mentioning that eating skins, pork skins with the hot sauce, because I know I individually placed, like, this is going back. Sorry, guys. It's going back. So, like, just eating
Love that.
skins.
I used to love that.
Really?
I still do.
Vegetarian now.
Really? I'm vegan.
You guys are weird.
Oh.
I never liked skins. I did like pig feet.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I tried them. It was, I miss wings.
No.
It's a
Out
southern
here,
thing.
they call them chicharrones. They're not pig skins.
Chicharrones.
Chicharrones.
I feel like
Chicharrón.
the
Yeah.
only weird thing I did was eat Lay's and ketchup.
Still do
that's
that.
Yeah.
That's like Canadian.
That's really weird.
Is that what it is?
Canadians have a flavor of potato chip that's called ketchup.
Oh, you
Ketchup
know
flavor.
what? That's true. I'm from
That's
Buffalo.
their jam.
It's close.
I got a bunch of Canadian friends. All they use is ketchup potato chips. I was like, just get French fries.
I feel seen.
Really
No, but I feel
understand that.
seen. All the years I ate chips and ketchup. It's a thing.
It was something we did
It's a
at
thing.
at my Christian church. I mean Christian camp that I went to. Yeah. That's
Oh
where I
my
first
gosh.
learned
Can we just
that.
talk about one other thing? Chips and salsa.
Well, that's a given.
I can't.
Yeah.
Do I die first? I mean, do they run out?
Don't die
What do I
first.
do?
Just
I don't
eat
know.
the chips first.
Yeah.
And then it's okay to eat too many.
I
Just
eat
make
way
sure
too
you're in a
many.
hospital
Like, way too
to
many.
protect your life.
Yeah, way too many.
Okay, guys, obviously we're hungry. Everybody, we literally went from a one-legged,
starving.
possibly dead woman in church to chips and salsa and
Yeah.
french fries, and now I don't even remember what I was about to talk about. 'cause I'm
Delicious.
hungry.
I was just gonna like take it back. So I'm just saying like all like the southern things that they were doing that they brought out. So like the eating the pork rinds and then the throwing the salt over the table and then just again boys being boys and coming up with some prank and then or not a prank but a scheme and then doing it and
dare.
then getting scared or in trouble or whatever, and then adults just being adults and saying, "Oh, you guys are trying to be slick. Let me keep scaring you." So I thought it was funny.
Elvis in this episode was just hilarious.
In every episode, he's
Yeah.
True,
hilarious.
but this one's my favorite. Seriously, he's like, those haints, and he's like, what is haints? Ghosts, goblins, and tax collectors. Evil folk. I was just like, he's for the win right now. I
Yeah,
so appreciate
the
And
it.
Lance is
one-liners
great.
on this show. Oh my gosh,
No, we have a lot of them, and Lance is great. He plays Elvis really, really well.
He does.
He's a really good actor. And
he's
a great
really,
kid.
really good. That whole scene was so funny. But what I loved in culminating everything that happened with Elvis and Shaka and Grayson was the moment at the end where he realized that, he's having issues with his family and he really just wanted a pair of shoes because he has holes in his shoes. And when we see that moment going on the porch where he finds the holes in the shoes and leaves his shoes, I thought that was just such a beautiful scene that he was so selfless to leave his own shoes. But a big thing for him to put on the shoes and walk away, it was kind of like him, walking in somebody else's shoes. I thought that
Right.
was deep.
I thought, when we read that one, I really loved it because I thought it established that we have good kids.
Yeah.
Like, all in all, like, are they spoiled? Yeah. Their dad was a football player. They're spoiled. They're from Seattle. They're coming home. They're not used to such, tight restrictions on them. But at the end of the day, they're good kids.
Yes.
And I think that was what I loved about that scene is it kind of established that early on for the audience to know, like, these kids are spoiled. They're not spoiled rotten. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're still great. And that's what, and with him doing that, I was just like, good.
Beautiful.
And Isaiah Russell Bailey, he's a fantastic actor, so he naturally could pull that off. So
Yeah.
it was really good.
I loved it. I thought it was beautiful. And even in all of that beautifulness and the craziness of all the kids, the adults were up to some craziness too. And we had M'dear trying to get Coco to go to church, change how she dressed, change everything about her. And Coco just wanted her to be more open-minded to different type of religions, different type of people. What did you guys think about all of that?
I actually agree with Coco. I feel like you don't always have to go to church to believe in God, to be close to God. I feel that's more of an inner spiritual thing. So I agree with it, and I also feel like it actually shows that just because she didn't grow up believing in God, she believes in Buddha and Muhammad and everything else, it doesn't mean it's also wrong, because all the principles are the same.
True. I kind of felt like, again, I agree, but I felt like we learned a little bit about Coco during that little scene where she traveled the world and her parent was an anthropologist, and so just learning a lot about her kind of opened me up to like accept her more, because it's not that she was like not wanting to be church-like.
Right, yeah.
She's open-minded, as we all keep saying.
And on that note, I think that storyline was a perfect mirror, because I think it showed that although Coco didn't agree with everything that M'dear believed in, she still tried it. She tried on the church clothes. She went to the church groups, to Sunday school and all that. Whereas M'dear would not bend. You know what I mean? And I think that shows a little bit of like M'dear saying, "Oh yeah, I'm open-minded as long as you're doing what I want you to do."
Right.
You know what I mean?
Good
And
point.
so I think by the end of it, I love that she kind of, or we'll talk about that, but she kind of learns and kind of grows from that. But that to me was a great storyline, because it was a perfect mirror of how, even though M'dear is loving and all that, she's not she's not as open-minded as she thinks she is. You know what I
Not
mean?
until you came along and
What?
said, Mama, you need to get it together. I want you to answer as Mose and answer as Anthony on what you really thought about M'dear and, how he felt after she kind of came around.
So as Anthony, kind of analyzing the scene, I loved it. I thought it anytime as an actor you get to grow as a character, and anytime you get to kind of learn a lesson and it kind of changes you, I think that's a fantastic thing, because I think it's fun to watch, right? I think as an audience member, you love watching that and you love seeing characters change. If you go back to your favorite shows, season 1, they're completely different than they are in like season 9. You know what I mean? As Mose, it was a big thing for me, because seeing my mom be able to do that and to be able to kind of take a step back and go, okay, fine. That was huge, because it showed that we weren't the only ones having to change coming to Georgia. We weren't the only ones that had to kind of make contingencies and kind of be like, all right, well, we'll take a step back and we'll do it this way and we'll do it your way. But she actually had to change a little bit too. So I think it shows kind of the overall theme of the show, which is we are all going to have to compromise and come together. Sure. You know what I mean?
Yes, beautifully stated. And that wraps up our episode. So now let's have some fun.
Okay.
Let's play a game. We are going to play Guess That Show. And in this game, I will name a character from a very popular black sitcom. It could be from any year, any time. It's just a black sitcom. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to answer. If you don't answer in 5 seconds, then we'll let our panelists answer. And we're just going to see who's going to come out on top. Are you ready?
Ready.
Okay. First character name, Theo.
The Cosby Show.
Correct.
Because I want to be Theo.
Good job. Okay. Myra.
Myra.
I think that's your 5 seconds.
Yep.
Dang it.
Can I answer?
Go ahead.
Family Matters.
Family Matters. Yes,
Wait,
it is. Ding,
the
ding,
girl?
ding.
Yeah, she
yes.
was Steve's girlfriend for the longest time.
Oh,
Yeah.
Myra.
Oh my God. That's right. Dang it.
Okay. Niecy.
Oh.
Like MASH?
It's a character name.
Easy.
Come on.
I'm lost right now.
What is it?
If it ain't Moesha.
Moesha. How could you not know that?
I know. And I love that show too.
Okay, I'm going to give you an easy one.
Okay, give it to me.
Carlton.
Carlton, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Ding, 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 ding.
Because I always practice that dance.
Okay. Gerard.
Gerard. Carmichael. Carmichael.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Loretta Devine was in that one too.
Yes,
So
she was.
He better have got that one. And then we have a bonus one.
Okay.
Rainbow.
Oh, Blackish.
Good job.
Yeah.
Yay. You did good.
I tried. I did a lot of sports as a kid. I watched a lot of TV. Sorry.
So that was Guess That Show.
Yes.
And now, our news and gossip. Our news and gossip.
Gossip.
All right.
Is that a new news and
Like the
gossip
hype
opener?
man. Gossip.
Right. So not only is Shaka like a really thoughtful young man, but he has some superhero abilities. If you guys checked out his Instagram, he did this flip over, and it was really dope. And I wish I can do it. If I could, I would, but
He does it
Check
all
it
the
out.
time.
Does he?
He loves it.
It's
He
like-
loves doing that.
and I
Anytime
like
he gets-
the
that's how he
end.
expresses himself.
Oh.
When he's excited, he just...
I love it.
So yeah, if you guys haven't seen that, please watch the video, okay?
Yeah, go watch. I love it. Well, Anthony, thank you so much for taking
Thank you
the
guys for
time to
having me.
come
This was
talk to
fun.
us.
This was great.
He's like a whole celebrity, y'all. He's been on Raven's Home and on Insecure, and now he's the most we all know and love on Family Reunion. And he used to play in the NFL for the
What?
Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
Fun
Another lifetime.
fact. So thank you for coming in.
You should tell us one thing we don't know about you.
Yeah, what's something we don't know?
Okay, one thing you don't know about me. God, no, I was trying to come up with something witty.
Dang.
I don't think good. Golf. I'm a golfer. I like playing golf.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's kind of
Is that why you were in the polo?
Actually, I just grabbed this because we went to the Getty with my kids today, and we were late, and I was like, huh, you, and put it on. But yeah,
So
that's
fun.
I love the polo.
Well, thank you for taking time away from your kids to come join us. We
Of
loved
course.
having you.
No
You're so
problem at all.
fun.
They're napping.
But why don't you tell our viewers where they can find you on social anywhere? What you got
Yeah,
coming
so
up?
my Instagram is at Anthony Alabi Official, and my Twitter is the Anthony Alabi, only because Anthony Alabi Official was too long, not because I'm like into myself like that. Just wanted to-
Thanks for the disclaimer.
yeah, just wanted you guys to know. But yeah, check it out. We'll post a lot of stuff about family reunion and a lot of little tidbits and surprises for you guys.
Perfect. Where can they find you, Zakia?
You can find me at Zakia_W_.
You guys can find me at Real Shade Jones on Twitter
I
and
was like, you were
Instagram.
leading to something. You were going somewhere.
You were there. We were like, come on now.
I was like, no.
Stop the ball.
Oh, real quick, you guys can find me at Real Shade Jones on Twitter and Instagram in case I got under the laughs.
yes.
Hey guys, this is actually the producer here. I want to see if we can take 5 extra minutes to just ask Anthony some more questions
Oh, yes.
about his time on set and his character and favorite, like any funny behind the scenes moments.
Yes.
I've been dying to know as a fan of the show as well.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Mo, sorry to call you Mo.
That's all right. I get called
Anthony,
it all the time.
what is something you really had to do to prepare to become Mo's? I know you're already a dad, but what are some things you had to do?
I mean, for me, I think it's style, right? So I mean, we're doing a multicam comedy, so a lot of it is finding a balance, and this is a throwback. So it was a lot of watching Family Matters. It was a lot of, although I miss that character. It was a lot of watching those '90s sitcoms and kind of making sure that you're in that genre and in that feel. Character-wise, I mean, I really agreed, and I'm very parallel with Mo's. So I think a lot of it was just kind of bouncing off of my other castmates and just kind of playing and seeing what his point of view would be depending on whatever came at me. So I think that it wasn't a huge process or anything else, but it was a lot of fun, and it was just kind of nice to dive in.
Seeing that you guys are like a family on set, do you do like family activities off set?
Yeah, it's weird. I remember I brought my wife to set, and we were all, on live taping nights, we would do a speed read, and so we all kind of go up into the hair and makeup room, and we're all together, and we kind of just go through the lines, just speeding through to make sure we all got it, and we can kind of go. And I remember afterwards, she looked at me and she goes, "You guys are so close." And I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" And it's because when you take a look, we're all just kind of hanging all over each other. People are kind of touching and just doing this and kind of, we are a family in that way. And I think we kind of take on those roles even subconsciously, where it's like, you may not call me dad or whatever, but with the kids, it's always like, hey, don't do that because you're looking out for the best interest and you care about them. And when their parents aren't around, you're like, where's your mom? Where's your dad? And so I think we all kind of fell into those roles, and definitely Loretta, because she's constantly like, come here. What are you wearing right now? And I'm like, it's style. This is not style. You look crazy. I was
Oh
like,
my gosh, I love it.
A lot of, and then Richard, of course, when he comes, it's a lot of fun because he is very grounded and kind of down to earth, and so he's very just kind of like cigar in hand at all times. And just,
I believe it.
How y'all doing? Okay. I'll just see you later then. It's like, all right, cool, man. Chef, see you later. But yeah, I think we are very close off camera.
What was it like having Charlie Wilson make his musical guest appearance on that episode?
We were all giddy the entire week. Like, we were just like, he's going to be here. Is he here today? And then when he came, the first rehearsal, it was great. We got like an on-set concert. Like, he just started singing, and we were just like, and then you started seeing people pour in to like the studio or the stage, and he just a cappella, just going at it.
Nice.
And so we were just going nuts. We got there's a video somewhere, but it was a lot of fun. I mean, he was great, and he was such a professional. Like, he came on, and I remember he started saying his lines. We were like, he's not holding a script. He's off book already? Okay. Don't
I'm like, I'm
change his
Charlie
lines.
Wilson. I don't need to follow.
Right.
lines.
He was I was like, he's wearing sunglasses? I wish I could do that. So, I mean, yeah. No, he was very cool, very professional. Love that guy. He was awesome.
Nice. So what's next for you after this?
So, I have, of course, a lot of PR going on with this thing. Hopefully we get a season 2. We'll look at that. I'm going to be on a new show on Showtime. Not new show for me. I'll be on Shameless. So that'll be fun. Yeah. And so just, staying busy, doing a bunch of stuff, kind of trying not to chew my fingernails off until we find out what happens with our show. Keep watching. But yeah, that's about it. Other than that, hanging out.
Yay.
Enjoying the tidal wave that's coming. all this
Yes.
stuff.
Have
Yeah.
you seen your billboard on Sunset?
I have seen and on Instagram people keep sending us. There's like 7 or 8 around the city,
Yeah.
and then when we landed in New Orleans for Essence Fest, there was a billboard right there. So they have them all over that place. I'm sure there's some in Georgia. So I'm really excited. We were in Times Square. It was kind of crazy. So I mean, it's been a lot of fun, and it's been great to like drive into the Grove and see my big old ears
Oh my gosh.
right on
Stop.
the billboard. So no, it's been a good time. It's a wild ride, but I'm enjoying it.
Well, we love this show, and we loved
Thank
you
you,
being
guys.
here and
Thanks
hearing
for
your
watching.
input on it. And we're going to continue watching.
Yes.
And make sure you watch us talk about the rest of the episodes.
Yes.
And
Good ones coming up. There's a lot of really good
Oh,
episodes
we
coming up.
are
A lot of
excited.
good episodes coming up.
So until next time, thanks for tuning in, guys.
Bye, guys.
Buzz you later.
Sweet potato pie.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.